Hi everyone, I'm going to go over your final portfolio assignment sheet with you. So let's get started and talk about what this project 4 final portfolio looks like. So in project 3 we talked about the term synthesis, and one meaning of that word is to bring together several parts to make a whole, and that's what your final portfolio does. This is where you're going to bring together all that you've learned and practiced in our class in order to showcase your progress and growth as a writer. So you're going to reflect on what you've learned this semester and also document your improvement and show that you've met all of the expectations outlined in the syllabus. And this is going to be your final exam for the course. So the goal of this portfolio is to demonstrate that you've met most, if not all, of the learning outcomes specified for this course, and to tell a story about your growth as a writer and a reader. So your assignment has 3 parts to it, or your portfolio has 3 parts to it. The first part is your reflection essay. The second part are 3 different essays or discussion posts or any informal writing that you've strategically chosen to tell a story of your growth. And the third part is your revised synthesis essay. These documents should work together to tell a story about your growth as a reader and writer and should complement your revised synthesis essay. I'm going to go into these in a little bit more detail in just a second, but I want to move on quickly to the criteria. Like I said before, your final portfolio is your final exam for the class. So it should contain the following aspects. Your reflection essay should be 1 to 2 pages. It should be an essay in which you go in depth. You need 3 different pieces of writing from the class that you've strategically chosen. Strategic means that you have looked at all of your writing as a whole and you think these 3 pieces best represent your journey as a writer and reader throughout the course. It's not just the 3 easiest to include, the 3 most recent. These are pieces that you feel best show your improvement. Your revised synthesis essay and all of the above are combined in one document. It's typed. It's in Times New Roman 12-point format, and it's double-spaced. Just a note about the final portfolio, it is the last thing that I read from you in our course. It serves as an archive for your first efforts in college writing, so you want to make sure that it reflects your best efforts in all ways. And I'm really looking forward to reading your portfolios and looking with you at your development and growth as a writer and reader through our course. Now, as I've said previously, this is your final exam and it is due December the 3rd by midnight on Canvas. So let's go into a breakdown of what these parts are. So the first part is your reflection essay. This is a 1 to 2 page essay and it's going to tell a story of your semester. These are the following 4 things that your reflection essay should address. You should explain why you included the 3 different pieces of writing. So, in other words, answer the question of how do these pieces demonstrate your growth as a reader and a writer? Secondly, it needs to explain your revision process on your synthesis essay. So, answer these questions. What were the most important changes that you made? Why did you make these changes? Why did you feel that they were necessary to make? How is the essay clearer now? And how does it communicate what you wanted to say better or more clearly? Thirdly, explain how all of these documents demonstrate how you've met the learning outcomes for the semester. And if you need a refresher on the learning outcomes, I've included them right here. Here they are. So you need to explain how the pieces you've included have shown that you met these outcomes. So how can it show that you know how to critically read, analyze, and synthesize texts? How does it show that you understand that writing is a process that includes reading, invention, planning, drafting, revising, and editing? How does your portfolio prove that you can recognize reading, learning, and writing as social acts where you're a part of a group of people who are participating in this conversation together? How does your portfolio show that you know how to work collaboratively with your peers in order to contribute to each other's learning and writing processes? How does your portfolio show that you know how to write claims or thesis statements that focus and organize your writing, and that you know how to show attention to audience and purpose? How does your portfolio show how you develop and logically organize the details and evidence for your papers? How does it support your focus? How does it make connections between ideas? And then lastly, how does your portfolio show that you know how to use effective language in grammar, in mechanics, in spelling, and punctuation? So, fourth and last is, how did you learn these things? Share with everyone how you learned them. Were there specific exercises like the peer review? Were there specific ideas like maybe when we talked about synthesis, or strategies that we did in the course that helped you? Were there certain class discussions that worked? Did the textbook help? Did working with your peers help? In other words, this reflection essay needs to make an argument regarding your writing and learning outcomes. And your revisions and included documents are your evidence to back up how you met these learning outcomes. Moving on to part 2, the 3 pieces of your writing. So you should choose 3 different pieces of writing you've done for this class through the semester. It can be the literacy essay, the mini essays, the discussion board posts, anything that you think helps demonstrate your journey and growth as a writer. You can include any combination of these. You can include the essay, discussion board post, and a mini essay. It doesn't matter, as long as you've got 3 pieces of writing from our class that demonstrates your journey as a writer. Now, whether you revise or polish these documents is up to you. However, you need to keep in mind that these documents must accomplish the goals and the work of the portfolio. So the goal and the work, remember, is to show your journey as a writer through our course. It's absolutely fine to choose documents that you struggled with and that are imperfect, but you need to discuss the challenges and flaws of these pieces in your reflective essay. So just be expected be ready to explain your decision to include these documents and discuss how the documents show your progress as a writer. So if you're including something that maybe you didn't do as well in your reflection essay, you can say, this is where I started. And then the synthesis essay that you've revised and edited, this is where I finished, and this shows my growth and my progress as a writer. So you would just need to explain why you chose to include maybe something that wasn't, that you didn't do as well in. All right. And number 3, the revision of the synthesis essay. So revision literally means to see again. For this part of the portfolio, you need to revise your synthesis essay. You want to put a lot of thought into your revisions, and you'll want them to demonstrate how you've made improvement in your writing and thinking in the course. So what this means is you need your synthesis essay needs to be changed in some way. The worst mistake you can make on this part is to submit your paper and it's not changed from its original form. Now, not only does this send the wrong signal, that maybe you don't care, you haven't learned very much, it's just a tremendous waste of a rather unique educational opportunity, and you get to re-engage with this essay. So something that I'm looking for is, and this is what we'll go over in class on Thursday, is you need to think about ways that you can change the essay. Is your thesis statement working well? Is it pulling the weight it's supposed to? How can you change this thesis to make your essay more focused? Are your points adding up to your thesis? Are you choosing evidence that's strong and that really supports your focus in the essay? Is your conclusion pushing that what's at stake? Is it pushing the call to action at the end? Those are things that you can start with and examine and see how you can make those areas stronger. If you need to redo a point because your point that you included wasn't very strong, add in a different point. All of that is what I'm talking about when I say revision. I'm not simply talking about editing and proofreading. That comes much later. We're still making big changes to the essay at this point. Now, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult in knowing how to combine the material into one document. So it's just a little 15-step process here if you want to go by it. If you already know how to do that, that's fine. What I suggest you do is you work on each of the parts separately in their own Word doc. And then when you're ready to combine them and submit, then you can put them all in one document. So you'll just create a new document. You'll put your MLA header on the left hand with your right hand last name and page number. You'll copy and paste the reflection essay in, skip to a new page, copy and paste your first writing piece, your second writing piece, and then your third writing piece. You'll want to skip pages so that each thing can have its own page. Then you'll copy and paste in your revised synthesis essay. Review the document. This is the most important part. Review the document. Make sure the spacing's right. Make sure there's no errors. Make sure things haven't gotten jumbled. Title your document, last name, and final portfolio. Review it again, and then you'll submit it. Okay. Remember that we will talk more about this on Thursday, but this is a video I wanted you to have access to so that you can replay it as many times as you need so that you can more clearly and better understand what the assignment is.